Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by who? Who's the person that hosts the stream? Where's this information? Oh, right, LewdDolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitch and Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow me personally at LewdDolphin21 on Twitter, and on Twitch and YouTube it's LewdDolphin, no digits. Sentinels of the Multiverse, Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, and Spirit Island are available on Steam, and everything but Spirit Island is on iOS and Android devices. Spirit Island will be on iOS and Android devices by the end of the year, though, and you can get more information on those games at handelabra.com. Migrant P is subscribed with Twitch Prime, has been subscribed for 5 months. Why can't I do this on my phone, Twitch, WTF? I don't know. But hello, Migrant P. Welcome to Handelabra Games. Hopefully you are welcome here. Just kidding. Hello, DF. Hello, Migrant P. And hello to whoever is still lurking and will remain lurking. And it's totally okay to lurk as much as you want to your heart's content. I'm playing Spirit Island today because I got this in the mail yesterday. Woo! Got the Jagged Earth expansion. So we're gonna celebrate with a Spirit Island game that is very much not Jagged Earth, but still the digital game. I will probably play some, or I will try to play the game physically. I'm not sure how much I can play it solo with all of the manual work. I will also need to get myself familiar with disease and strife and animals and all of the extra tokens they've added and events too. And then I'll eventually need to, play with the scenarios and adversaries and that. I might just play, a difficulty 0 game just to get used to the tokens, and then I could start working with some of the new adversaries. But I've been studying the manual, trying to to familiarize myself with all of the new concepts and stuff. Granted, most of that is from Branch and Claw, which I have had but haven't actually played with. But since there's rules for playing without B and C stuff, but I mean, I want to play with everything. I want to, be the very best, like no one ever was. But yeah, I want to get into that. I want to, John. Don't tell me what to do. I'm kidding. All right, so today, we're gonna play on a balanced map because we've been doing a lot of thematic maps on Spirit Island Saturdays. I'm just gonna stick with balanced, and we're gonna go with the adversary level that we failed at, which was England 3. We lost to the additional loss condition because we weren't paying attention, and we put too many towns and cities in one place, and then they built in that place a 7th thing, and we couldn't undo it because of the exploration. Actually, yeah, we lost to the escalation effect, I guess. So we're gonna play there. Do you guys have any suggestions for boards, and probably spirits as well? But I'm thinking I want to bring lightning, because lightning is very good at destroying towns and cities, which is the biggest problem with England, right? The reverse side of this doesn't say anything. It's not like the scenarios where the scenarios have things that say this scenario is notably easier for spirits with versatile Dahan movement, or for spirits good at moving or destroying towns or cities. But certainly, the biggest challenge of this is that there will be constant builds because of the additional rule that invader build actions affect lands without invaders if they're adjacent to at least 2 towns or cities. And the fact that if there are 7 or more in one single place, they win, plus the whole high immigration issue where there's an additional build in stage 1. Play with 6 spirits. Sure, yeah, we'll get on that. And good evening, Seamus. Welcome. So no one's making any letter recommendations. So board 1 has a tile that sees all the way, this is a coastal tile that sees all the way to the edge, which might make things hard, right? Because we want lands that don't have much visibility. Like this 8 only sees 6 and 7. So if we can try to avoid 8 from being built, that'd be wise. I'm gonna bring C in. This 8 also sees only 6 and 7. This 8 sees 6, 5, and 7. Let's bring B and C, right? That's how we should do it. Keep the middle super packed like that. I guess we could try to... I've read that like different board configurations are going to be slightly easier or harder. Like this configuration makes it so this edge here, which is normally an inner land, is now adjacent to a coastal tile, so it has that same problem where it's adjacent to a coastal, so it'll pretty much always be seen after a build. Whereas this is notably easier because there's just a single line of coast, or single coastline, and then, you know, all the inlands, and it's basically just an extended board. And I think this is also similarly easier because the innerlands are just coupled together. You want easier time than spirits that destroy towns. So yeah, we already said that we're going to be using lightning. So who do we want to accompany lightning with? I think we did lightning and green recently because I think that we were able to give lightning a lot of growth outside of lightning's growth phase. So let's not use rampant green. I wish I could just put this away, but we'll just keep that in mind. And we're not going to use green. But who would be a good addition? Bringer? Lightning and Bringer? Well, Bringer doesn't destroy cities, and that's... I mean, Bringer is really great and powerful for Fear and progression of the Fear deck in general. It's just that Bringer can't really destroy the towns and cities, and it's... And I played with Bringer last time, so that's my other excuse. Hello, Rays, and welcome! So let's see. Ocean would be fine. River pushes towns. And explorers. It's the explorer part that is a bit more problematic, because like it's not as simple as just pushing explorers, but pushing towns would probably be really good. Shadows pushes a lot of explorers, destroys explorers, and is really difficult in a game like this. Thunder Speaker is really powerful in my recent experiences, and Vital Strength, while can provide some perpetual defend, Yep, defend there and skip all actions. Skipping all actions can forego the whole bonus builds in addition. So that might be pretty good. Vital Strength. Let's do Vital Strength and Thunder Speaker. I think these are two low difficulty ones. That's low complexity. That's low complexity. So maybe I don't want to do that. Ocean is high. River's low, right? Low. Green is moderate, but we don't want that. Thunder Speaker is moderate. So do I want two lows? That would feel like I'm cheating, right? I want low moderate. Or low high. Low high, probably. Let's bring in Ocean. Ocean likes destroying towns and cities on the coast. Alright, so let's try this out, see how things go. England 3. Difficulty 6. Let's go. Alright, so how does England 3 work? So additional loss condition is if there are 7 or more towns or cities in a single land, the invaders win. So we really need to avoid that from happening. Sometimes we like to put all the towns and cities in one place, but we lost my first game on stream, my second game overall, by by forgetting about that rule. So we have to be really mindful of this. Now we can have 2 or 3. 2 or 3 is fine, but 6 is when it starts getting scary, because that will always, you know, that will produce builds adjacent to it, and it will build in itself and all that. Plus the escalation. On each board with town city, build in a land with the most towns or cities. Like, if there's a land with 6 towns or cities, the escalation makes us lose. Yeah, let's blame Frenzy. Alright, so we're on level 3, which means that there are 13 fear cards. 4 at terror level 1, 5 at terror level 2, 4 at terror level 3. So that's going to be quite difficult to finagle through. Invader build actions affect lands without invaders if they're adjacent to at least 2 town cities before the build action. So, I believe per the updated language, it says, I think the updated language says something like, build cards match lands without invaders or something like that. It's about matching as opposed to affecting, just to make it more consistent across the Spirit Island language. But anyway, if it's adjacent to 2 town cities before the build action, it will always result in that build. Ooh. Ooh. Cool. Anyway. Getting distracted. During setup, on each board, add a city to land 1 and a town to land 2. So we got that city land 1, town land 2, city land 1, town land 2. So we have 4 cities to begin with. And 4 towns. But the extra thing about England 3 is the high immigration level 1. Put the high immigration tile on the invader board to the left of Ravage. The invaders take this build action each invader phase before ravaging. Cards slide left from Ravage to it and from it to the discard pile. Remove the tile when a stage 2 card slides onto it, putting that card in the discard. At level 4, it remains out the entire game. But in addition to explore and build and Ravage, we have another build, the high immigration build. And if this build has the same, icon or same land tile as the Ravage, or, the whole England rule that says that build actions affect lands without invaders, if we're adjacent to lands, or adjacent to a land or lands with 2 towns or cities, we're gonna build in there and then ravage in it immediately. That's when things start getting pretty bad. Now this will only work until we get a tier 2, or is it called tier, or a stage? They're called stages. I keep forgetting what they're actually called. But once we get the stage 2 card on this build, then we'll just forget about it and move it to the discard, and we'll be gone with it. So it's only on the first level, but it's already terrible. I already hate it. All right, so where do we want Ocean to be? Is there any feasible way we could drown a city on turn 1? It's highly doubtful, right? Because you need to have 3 waters. You only have 1 card play. You would need 2 card plays plus a water. So yeah, it'd be nice to drown that city on turn 1, but that's just not happening. But we could probably try to work towards that, depending on what our priorities are. There's also a city here we have to worry about. Plus, everything else on this board. Do we want to be with the Dahan, though? I guess we could always touch that land with Dahan by Grasping Tide. But let's put ourselves here, because I think B1 is going to be easier to view things. This views B5, 6, 5, and 4, whereas 2 only views 4, so we want to be there. Exploring in the wetlands, perfect. That's exactly where I wanted to be. Okay. Now the nice thing is these 2 wetlands are not okay. Well, never mind. This wetland is adjacent to 4 towns and cities. C8 is adjacent to 1, so that's not going to have an extra build. But B6 and B1 are currently adjacent to 2. They have the towns and cities within them already, which is basically the issue. B1 is adjacent to 1s in the mountains, so that's always going to build. B6, if we could somehow deal with that, that'd be great. However, all these cards are coastal, aren't they? Coastal, 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 another coastal, coastal. So this is difficult for Ocean to reach. With lightning, we could certainly do a lot of things with, destroying towns, cities, and whatnot. Lightning is pretty bad at destroying invaders, except with Raging Storm, which is a super high-cost power card. But stopping a build is certainly nice. Let's see, so usually with lightning, people tend to go along the card plays route. And when I say people, I mean I see John doing this. And John is people. But actually, I guess I mean also Frenzy and in Jeff Dugan. Although I'm not sure how many of them have actually played Lightning, but so many card plays is very tempting. Just would have like no energy to play really any cards if I go that route. If I do double presence, I don't have to play all my cards. I could set up for 4 card plays ASAP and then spend some extra turns building energy. But a lot of times you end up in a reclaim loop with Lightning. So how do I want to best end up in that reclaim loop? Being able to destroy a town requires 3 card plays. Destroying multiple towns and cities require 5 card plays. That's kind of the big, you know, desire with Lightning there. But if I go, like, if I rush, like if I do double presence and I get to 4 card plays right away, I can only play 2 cards because I will only have 1 energy. If I do add presence and gain 3 energy, I could do 3 card plays. I could play 3 cards and I'll basically be reclaiming immediately, playing 3 cards, probably that turn as well, and reclaiming for the rest of my life. Unless I find, you know, low energy cards. But do I want to be greedy and, you know, push for that destroy town immediately? Or do I want to be careful and try to get some foundation before we go super hardcore into Lightning? Especially if the island blights and you keep destroying presence. If we have to destroy Lightning presence every turn, that's going to be really bad. But anyway. We could stop the build in C8 if we use Raging Storm at least. And we can destroy the town that builds in C5 with Shatter Homesteads. We can't play both. But if we had the tier 1 here, destroy town, we could do Raging Storm, Harbingers of the Lightning, and Lightning's Boon. That would cost all of my energy, though. But it would stop the build entirely. No, it wouldn't. Well, okay, we'll stop this build, and we'll take the town out of here and prevent this from blighting and cascading. That's probably worth it. We want Lightning to have really good Sacred Site coverage, especially of the inner lands on land B. Land C7 sees a lot. It sees C5, C4, B8, B7, C8. Now C5 and C8 are already seen, but seeing these lands on land B is really good. We'll also want to work towards getting C2 and C3, but I think putting it in C7 to start with and try to get a Sacred Site there. If I can afford to only play Shatter Homesteads next turn, that would be fine. That requires me to go with this route again, though. Add presence and gain 3 energy. Unless I do double presence and I take off energy track, but I'm not sure. I want to avoid reclaiming. I want to try to grow a little bit more before we reclaim, but that assumes that I can get away with that depending on what the Explorer does. So that solves the build problems on land C. The build problems on land B are a lot harder because Ocean can't really see B6 with these cards. So we could probably just accept that B6 is going to blight. But there is a chance... There's a chance that we could try to drown the city. Now, unfortunately for me to do that, I will need Lightning's Boon next turn. That's a bit problematic. I could use Shatter Homesteads next turn to destroy the town that crops up there, right? So I don't necessarily need Thundering Destruction this turn. Like, it's probably a bit greedy to try to play all these cards and get that, right? So, let's think for a moment. Like, if I want Lightning's Boon next turn, this is... Yeah, it's any power, so you could use this innate fast. If you can get 3 water and 2 mountain. In order to get 3 water and 2 mountain, You can get the water this turn, or 2 card plays this turn, but you'll need 2 card. You'll only have 2 card plays next turn, really. You could go. I guess you could go for 3. Just turn into your own version of lightning. But if you get the innate water, you only need 2 card plays. You'll have to play 2 mountains. The thing is, though, do we even need to destroy the city? Because we have this defend 4. They're going to build a town in there. There's going to be 6 damage in there. We need to do something in there in order to defend enough to avoid the blight. Which, gathering an explorer would be good enough. So maybe not. Maybe I don't need to be greedy and go for this. I'm trying to avoid being greedy, and I'm getting greedy. Tidal boon allows for a push of a town into Dahan from a land. Sorry, I'm thinking there's so many cards here. But Call of the Deeps would be the easy option to drag this explorer into B1 or into B0, I guess. It's not going to stop a build this turn. I could use it next turn to try to stop a build, but with this city and town here, there's no way I can stop a build along the coast unless I can deal with these, which I'm not currently, and I'm not working towards that either. I don't want to drown this Dahan that's sitting in there. If I do Call of the Deeps, if I just do like 2 presents from Moon and Water, and I play Call of the Deeps as my only card play, I would get this, right? I'd get 1 fear from that. 1 fear, gather an explorer. Because like gathering explorers is not going to work well in a England game anyway, so it's probably fine to just do that for a turn. Save the defend for next turn. So we'll pull the explorer out of there. There'll only be a city on a town. Defend 4 is good enough, and then we could play a second card depending on what we want to do with that. And if we go with growth option 3 next turn, we could put a presence in B2 to drown the town there. Or into C2, because if we do this option, we could put a presence in both oceans, right? That's really what you want to do, is to be in both boards from the start. So we'll do that. Call of the Deeps. That's that turn. So I don't need Lightning's Boon next turn. So, with that in mind, we just do Raging Storm this turn. Do Shatter Homesteads next turn during the fast phase to destroy this town. That way, I save energy. 1 energy. I save an energy. I do growth option 3 next turn. Add a second presence. I would trigger this innate next turn. I would have Shatter Homesteads for the fast phase. Yeah, so I'd have more information next turn as to what town I would need to destroy. So I'm going to do that instead. So I went and I took a third card play, and I'm not using it. So look how smart I am. Alright, but let's bring this Explorer in, give you half an energy. Let's take this Explorer out to stop that build. And let's get a fear. Builds happen. Exploring Sands. So B3 is always going to build, even if we take that Explorer out. B5 is always going to build. And C6 is always going to build. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All of these are always going to build, so I can't do anything with Explorers here. Okay, so let's do something with this. Let's get... Do I want a second... See, the thing is, this power is Sacred Site, this power is Sacred Site. So getting a second sacred site is kind of necessary, but it doesn't necessarily need to be here. Especially because they're not building in these inner lands, so I don't need this sacred site just yet to see these lands. But they are going to explore in jungle or mountain next turn. Time to undo start of game. Oh, time to undo to start of game. Can't undo that far. We don't have unlimited undo. But yeah, I do have that habit of undoing a bajillion times, right? I could undo to the Explorer, and then we could just see the Explorer happen again, but there hasn't been any action since. So I need to take the energy route if I want to play my hand. Now, they're always going to build in C6, but I can take out that town with the innate. And then that Ravage doesn't blight. C2 is just a terrible spot right now. Ocean is going to defend B1. I guess if we put the presence in C2, we could drown a town in there. We're going to build a town. There's going to be 6 in there, and I can only defend 4. Unless, you know, the next turn when I reclaim or something. Well, I'm going to gain a power card, aren't I? Wasn't that my plan? I mean, what I wanted was to add a presence to coastal land. And I'm going to gain a power card off of that, so maybe that power card's going to do something. You didn't realize the new Explorer happened. I can't even undo past this point. Because there's nothing to undo to, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and gain a power card. And Lightning doesn't have, or not Lightning, Ocean doesn't have super energy yet because Omnoms haven't happened yet. So we're gonna take a minor power. That will also help build a volume of cards, which will allow us to take major powers and, you know, not have to forget base cards. All right, so Elemental Boon. Not good overlap between these two spirits, though. I mean, they do want both air and water. Lightning wants water. Oh yeah, by the way, this is new. This is new. Probably shouldn't be advertising this. I don't know if I have the permission to do that, but that is new. Notice how the screen didn't just get super dark right now. We can actually view the state of the board while we also have the cards out. We'll wait until Spirit Island Saturdays for John to talk more about that. This is the first time I'm playing with that. Yeah, so Lightning needs air. Literally every single Lightning card is air, though. Lightning needs water, and that's only on tiers 3 and 4, which require 5 card plays anyway. Steam Vents gives air and water and earth. Doesn't give moon, but you don't need much moon. You get innate moons, or innate moons singular. Unfortunately, this will only destroy an explorer. It could actually destroy a town with 3 earths. That requires you to have 3 card plays or get to this level and have an innate earth. So that's tempting. Drought doesn't have water, has earth, doesn't have air. Adds blight. But this, so I guess the other thing is Steam Vents is range 0, so it's very hard to actually target a land that's not your land, like unless you have extended range. Drought adds blight, but it takes out towns. Like immediately, it just destroys towns. Also, it does damage. I don't think damage is useful. 3 suns destroys a city, but you don't have suns. And then Savage Maw Beasts, if target land is jungle wetlands, 1 fear and 1 damage. If you have 3 animals, another damage. You don't have animals. So I feel like it's not Savage Maw Beasts, it's not Drought. Steam Vents gives a lot of elements, but doesn't have much of an effect. Elemental Boon could provide whatever elements we want it to. There's not much overlap in elements, but I could basically take this just to help lightning. Like, if lightning plays their hand right now, they have 3 fire, 3 air. If I give you a fire, that's 4 fire, 3 air. You can destroy a city with that. We were going to use that to probably not destroy a city, per se, but we could. So John says, advertise away. Well, you can move this around now. Can't really move it too far away, but you can at least move it to the side and then like look at your lands and see better. Like, well, this is a wetland, so this Savage Maw Beast will work there. Which is pretty cool. You know, it's like a window now instead of a separate screen where you have to click this in order to view the state of the board. Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, we could get that Destroy City. I guess that would work well here. You can't see that though, range 1. Yeah, so you don't actually see that. So that's annoying. We could destroy this city and just get a bunch of fear off of that. But my first plan was to use Shatter Homesteads to destroy this town. Or Shatter Homesteads has range 2. I could use Thundering Destruction on C5. I can use those fast because I'll have enough air to take out this town in the fast phase. The single explorer dies to the Dahan. We also have a card that says push 2 Dahan. We can take those 2 Dahan, push them into C2. We could use Shatter Homesteads to destroy one of the towns in here. There'll be a second town that builds, but we'll take out one of the towns, and Ocean can drown the other town. So there'll be 4. There'll be a city and an explorer. Next turn, if Ocean reclaims and gets Call of the Deeps. No, not Call of the Deeps. Grasping Tide. Yeah, that we're playing it this turn. We're also considering playing it next turn in this route. But 4 damage, 4 defend, 2 Dahan takes out city and explorer. So I don't have to destroy the city with lightning. So we don't need elemental boon for that. The problem is if I'm taking a card off of this and I'm only getting 2 card plays, I would like to not have to reclaim. Steam Vents can destroy the town in here, can't it? If I played Swallow the Land Dwellers, Tidal Boon, and Steam Vents. No, I can't. What am I talking about? Oh, I'm thinking of the fact that if I had this Earth, I would have 2. Yeah, but I can't get that destruction this turn. But no, if I play Grasping Tide, I have to do this turn to save this land. Unless I want to lose my presence in Dahan, which is sad. So can I get around not having that defend 4 next turn? You don't have Reclaim 1, do you? Nope. Oh, That's annoying. I could set up to destroy the city next turn with lightning. That requires me to not play cards this turn, because you can't have a Sacred Site in range 1. Like, if I went this route, for instance, for some reason. Like, if I did this, I'm not doing this, but if I did this, I have 3 energy, I could play these cards. And then with Thundering Destruction, I could destroy this city. So I don't need the energy this turn. Why did I think I needed the energy this turn? I don't know. Math is hard. I like to get to this 2 energy on Lightning just because it doubles Lightning's innate energy growth, which makes it easier to play cards. Although it's only 50% growth if you just go in a reclaim route because you already have this innate 1, but... So if you do get a fire, you can destroy the city. You can destroy this town this turn. We'll have a town here and 2 towns here. We can destroy a town and an explorer with Swallow the Land Dwellers. We can destroy the other town next turn with something. So we might not need to reclaim. So I'm going to take Elemental Boom because I think that's going to work then. And you need that presence to be here, and you probably want 2 card plays. And you have to gather or push from each ocean. So I guess you don't necessarily need to plant that there, do you? Well, it's probably fine because I can put you there, I could put you there. Although I probably want something there to swallow something next turn, so actually... Let's push that one there. This one there. Play Elemental Boon for Lightning. And we could perhaps... Ooh. Well, you already get that, right? You already get that with this. So hold on. We don't necessarily need lightning to destroy a city. We could have ocean destroy a city. You do need that water, though, so you do still need Elemental Boon for that. This is just the game of no, you. No, you. No, you. No, you. It's only turn 2. It's already no, you. Oh, we need that defend, don't we? Shoot. But I can't get that defend if I play Elemental Boon. Shoot. Oh, shoot. That's a conundrum. I can't do both the defend in B1 and the Elemental Boon for Lightning. But I don't have to... Like, if Ocean has the ability to destroy a city, we could do this during the fast phase with Lightning's Boon. That's the only card you could play this turn. When you reclaim, you gain 2 energy, so you'll get energy enough to play those 2 cards. Are you going to reclaim next turn, though? I want to avoid you reclaiming. If you do this option, you could probably play these 2 cards, right? Take this energy track, gain the energy there, plus another presence. I don't know, but let's see. So, Grasping Tide for the defend, Swallow the Land Dwellers, drowns a town and an explorer in C2. I don't particularly want to use it in B3 because that's going to drown a Dahan, which I can't move. We do have Ocean Breaks the Shore, which drowns a town, so I could drown the town in B3 right now. Not right now, but during its slow phase, the town that builds, I can drown it. The defend in B1. And Swallow the Land Dwellers in C2. We're not getting that city destruction, but we can use this innate next turn to get it. think there's a way to get it. Fire, water, earth means you only need one water and one earth, and you have that. So that's fine. Okay, this might work. This might work. So, do the defend. I guess, do I need the sacred site here now? The next level of this, do I need the sacred site here now? I'll probably leave it there. Actually, no, let me not put it there. Let me undo everything I just said to make John mad. But let's put it in C4 because it's going to basically serve the same purpose, except I'll be able to view... I'll be able to view C3 as well. So energy and energy. Those cards. Elemental boon. Card plays. Push there, push there. Defend card. Only other card you can afford. Finish. See, it goes much faster once we already know what we're doing. Just the issue of not rewinding too far. So that... Because this sacred site only really views C2 and C4. This sacred site views C2, C4, C3, and B8. So that's good. Alright, so what are we going to do then? It's either Shatter Homesteads or Thundering Destruction. This one has longer range, so I'll probably use this power to destroy this town. Stops that blight and cascade. We ultimately, well, I guess we're thinking of pushing the Dahan into C2, but we don't need to now. Boon might as well be done. This is any spirit. I guess it doesn't have to be on Ocean, but there's really no other place to put it. Oh, but we need the presence in B3, don't we? So never mind, I made a mistake there. That presence should not be in B2, it should be in B3. So I gotta rewind to the last push. This push goes there. Okay, last time, I swear. I'm done. Because I need to be able to be in this land for Swallow the Land Dwellers to work. But I'm not playing Elemental Boon. Sorry, I'm just kidding. This is not the last time. This is the last time. Alright. Make sure we're doing this right. Defend there. Thundering Destruction there. Boon Ocean, but you have no reason to because you need that in the slow phase. I guess you could just do this in C2 right now if you wanted to. They're going to build a town regardless, right? So it doesn't matter when we do it, but let's take the fear now. We get one fear off of that. We get a fear and a fear off of this. We could get a fear card if we forget about the fact that we want to destroy a town in the slow phase. But I'm not sure what that fear card is. But we probably could just wait for the slow phase to do it. So we don't necessarily need to push the Dahan into C2. We can figure out where we want it later. I guess the other thing is the Ravage. We can't see this land. So I can't really use it to do more damage there. And this Ravage is done, and this Ravage is blighting. Destroy a town we want for the slow phase, so yeah, we're actually done using powers. Sand builds. Exploring jungles. Alright, so that's really good because lightning can see B8. That's really good. So then, ocean breaks the shore, drowns a town. We can do that there. Swallow land dwellers. Oh, we used that already. Destroy the town there, I think. Push to Dahan. So we need to be able to destroy a city in the fast phase next turn. Ocean's already there, so we don't need to put presence there. We're adding presence in oceans. You already have 3 energy, by the way, so we don't need to worry about your energy because you drown things. So that's good. Could actually push you to 3 card plays so that when you reclaim, you could play 3 cards. But anyway. What can we do with Harbingers then that's useful? Because if we're destroying a city, this is not going to ravage. We're going to need to destroy a town with lightning. Which could just be Shatter Homesteads, but probably should be Thundering Destruction. Assuming we can afford, you know. But if we reclaim, we're going to have 3 energy because of this. And you could just play these 3 cards. You'll gain a power card that might give you fire, which is really all you would want. And that fire could also destroy a town. With Elemental Boon, you could instead destroy a city. And they're building in C1. If we can destroy that city, that'd be nice. There's, of course, these builds that are happening here. And we want to stop the one in B4 as well. But you're not going to innately be able to do that. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in B4, but that's currently going to cascade. Which is annoying. So I don't know where we want this Dahan to be. But probably not C5 because there's nothing there. So the Dahan in C5, and they're already built in the wetland. I guess, okay, now we're on the tier 2 card. Oh, and they're building in the wetlands next turn too. Right, because of high immigration. Cool. So there's nothing in, oh no, but they're adjacent to stuff, so they're going to build their, okay, well. We can't do anything about that unless we could destroy this city and this town in fast phase. Oh, but it will still be adjacent to stuff, so that's, okay, that's annoying. Yeah, all these builds are just going to happen because of all the adjacencies. That's what makes England 3 so hard. Just England by itself is hard, but the high immigration plus the fact that builds happen even if there's no explorers is so annoying. But yeah, suffice it to say, I don't know where I want the Dawn to be. I guess I want this explorer to be dead. Just in the off chance that we can stop there from being 2 adjacent towns. We don't want the high immigration build to put that town back there. Let's put 1 Dahan there so that the retaliation... Actually, no, we don't need that Dahan there because we're destroying that town. So never mind, we don't. We're pushing this. I have no idea where we're pushing this. We're going to figure out where the... Okay, we're going to put 1 there. We're going to put 1 there. And we're going to pretend like that makes sense. Okay. So you're reclaiming, so you're gaining a power. Lightning is gaining something. Fire is good. Fire and air is fine. Something that costs 0 energy is ideal. And this is one that's 0 energy. It's the only 0 energy one. Ugh. It's just a little awkward. Terrifying Flame is basically a lightning card because it has all the elements. Not really, but has fire and air. It's range 1 from a sacred site, so it's a slow power, so it's basically a lightning card. It's the definition of a lightning card. Damage per Dahan. So what are we thinking of having you play, Lightning? You're gonna play Harbingers because it's free. And then you need to have 3 fires so that you can gain a fire off of Elemental Boon and destroy a city. If you play 3 air as well, you don't need the air, so Ocean could get the water and earth that Ocean needs. So I guess you do, like, if you're gonna play one of these cards, it's going to have to be Purifying Flame. Just for the elements. But you're just Ocean's destroying this city. You need to destroy this town. You're playing elemental boons so that Ocean can destroy the city in the fast phase and doesn't ravage. You need to destroy this town in the fast phase, but you can do that if you have this innate or with Shatter Homesteads. You don't necessarily need this innate. I guess if we want to destroy a city, like in C1, you would need to have the fires and airs. Could we get away with not doing it this turn and saving the cards for next turn now? Let's think about that for a second. You need to play 3 fires next turn. And probably 3 airs as well, in order to destroy the city in here next turn. Ocean could also do that next turn now, I guess. If Ocean gets all the right things. But I guess Lightning doesn't need to, like, I guess cities on the coast, Ocean can deal with one at a time. The problem is if there's multiple cities, we have to split it up a bit, don't we? So the city this turn is C2 from Ocean, so trying to decide what I want to play and I'm getting all the wires crossed. Defend is always great, especially because Lightning doesn't have innate defend. It just doesn't provide the elements that Lightning wants. The range will basically be increased by virtue of Lightning. So defend 5, range 1 is nice. Like, defend 5 and C1. You're gonna build a town, there's 6 damage there. Defend 5, like, stops that. Which makes me feel I should have put the Dahan in C1, because then we'd have 3 Dahan there to take on the defenders, but can't do that anymore. I think I did push 1 Dahan in there anyway, so that's good. So can I, like, you have to do Boon already on Ocean so that we can do this fast. And Ocean is going to need a water and an earth, so you can't get, like, too many elements that you would want. So do I do the defend route for next turn? Like, it's probably sap the strength, just because it's your energy. I want to have a fire card. But I just, like, it would have to be Purifying Flame in order for me to have all the right elements. But 0 energy cards are so good with Lightning, so I think it's sap the strength. You're gonna add presence. You're going for 3 card plays because you have energy now for days. That. So you're gonna get to this tier 2 innate. No, you're not. You need an air. But if we're not getting your city destruction, you don't need elements then. You need Lightning's Boon this turn. You can't play Raging Storm, unfortunately, so you can't stop a build, although it's unlikely it would stop build. I guess it could stop in C4. I guess I want Harbingers again so I can get the Dahan in C1 next turn. So that next turn we can sap the strength in C1 and have enough defend and enough Dahan to just wipe that out entirely. So do you want Shatter at Homesteads, or should we save that for next turn? We could save it for next turn. This would give you the innate, you would destroy another town. If you save this for next turn, Ocean would need to boon you, because you're only going to have 2 fire, 2 air. So you'd need to be booned a fire in order to destroy a town. But if you play this turn, you destroy a town automatically, and then Lightning doesn't have to boon you next turn. So this is completely eschewing the lightning destroying cities aspect. Probably doing this turn so I can destroy 2 towns instead of only destroying 1 town. Don't I need to destroy the town in C6? I do. So I do have to play this. Thank you for reminding me we have to destroy the town in C6. So I guess, so I can destroy the town in C6 with one of these, and then I can destroy one of the towns that build with the other one. We still have to deal with B4. Hopefully Ocean gets something that will help next turn. I guess Lightning might be able to reach there if Lightning does double presence and places it there. The problem is you're not going to have the innate. Yeah, I don't want the lost presence. The blight is okay as long as we bear in mind the state of the island, but lost presence is especially painful on Lightning. So Boon Ocean, Elemental Boon. I'm gonna give it to Lightning just because it benefits both versus benefits only Ocean, but Ocean is the only one that's really gonna get anything off of this deal. I guess a fire means you destroy a city. But hold on, I don't want that. Because what we want, we definitely want water. We definitely want earth. If you get an air, you'd have 2 fear. If you get a fire, you destroy a city. We don't need that city destruction. Like the city destruction in C1 is dealt with by the Dahan. Unless I destroy this, like if I was gonna play a defend card for this, but if I destroy the city in the fast phase, then C5 doesn't build. Because C6 town is destroyed, C2 city is destroyed. There's only 1 adjacent town, so we avoid the build in C5. We also avoid the build in C8. Well, we're already avoiding that anyway. So I guess I do want to actually destroy that city in the fast phase. I was setting up to defend there, but now I guess I'm not. Alright, so there you go. Destroy the city in the fast phase. Hopefully we can do enough actions fast. We need that to happen fast. Harbinger is pushing Dahan, so I guess I don't need to push Dahan in there now. I do still need this card for the elements. But we'll need to think about where I want to push. I could push from from B8, I guess. But we're drowning there. We have 2 fear cards now. We also have this title boon. That solves the energy problem on Lightning, by the way. And this has to target Lightning. Push a town and 2 Dahan from one of their lands. We could do that in the slow phase, probably. We could push from C4. We could push from C7, but that's not doing anything right now. I think this is better for the slow phase because there's no obvious answer as to what to do with this. Harbingers of the Lightning pushing Dahan. Again, there's no obvious thing for this. These 2 can combo together though, which is nice. I'm gonna finish using powers. I think we did all that we needed to do. Alright, so we have 2 fear cards, and once I flip this, I can't go back. Let's see what these fear cards do. Remove an explorer from a coastal land. That is exceptionally good. That stops this build altogether. I don't need to do anything extra there. Unfortunately, this is the only other option, and that's already death by Dahan. So the 2 options are just those 2. But it does stop a build. Push an explorer into a land with more towns and cities from the land it came from. Interesting. I think the most useful thing, the C6 Ravage takes care of that explorer. The C4 build is stopped if I take this explorer out, and that has to go into that land. B8 is happening because of the two things in B6. B4 is happening because it's next to 4 town cities, so I can't stop either of those. This is death by Dahan. No, it's only adjacent to this town. There's nothing in C3, nothing in C2, nothing in C5. One town in C7. And B8 is going to build, but this build doesn't affect this because it's happening, you know, simultaneously. So once you know there's no town no 2 towns next to it, it's not doing a thing. So this is really good. We're stopping both of the wetland builds and both of the jungle builds in C. B is more of a problem though. I think we want to push out of B4 just because then any defend in B4 will stop that blight. So all we need is a single defend card of any strength. I think there is a defend 1 card somewhere. Yeah, there's a defend 1 card. It's also going to be defend 4 in the jungle, but there's a defend 1 card. So if this were to jungle or sands, we would defend 1 in there and be fine. So I think I want to push this guy out. Push him into the... We want him on the coast. Well, actually, he's dying to the Ravage if we put him in the sands. So actually, let's push him into the sands. That way we don't have to deal with him. Take this guy into the sands. Oh, we can't because there's nothing there now. There's no more towns. But we can stop. No, not that. Shoot. Screwed that up. Push this guy here. It has to go there. Push this guy. There's 3 options. I'm gonna push into the mountain. Just because. Invaders build in the wetlands. It's only building in the east wetlands. They ravage in the sands, making that blight. They build in the jungle, but only in the east jungles. And they're exploring in the jungles. Adjacent cards are really good. Except in England, because they're gonna build and ravage. No. Oh. They're gonna build and ravage the jungles. Okay. Also, the escalation effect built this city in C7, which is really bad because this build is gonna happen in C6. And it built a city in B6. So this is really bad. Okay, so we need to figure out what we're gonna do. Pushing Dahan and push a town and 2 Dahan from lands. So the ravaging C1, the ravaging C4. Like the build in C4 is not prevented, unfortunately. So where are we pushing things to that would make sense? I am entirely unsure. Like, ordinarily, I would want to, like, push the town from C7 into C5, I think. That doesn't really do anything for me. Now, this jungle is actually a bit more dangerous than otherwise expected. I could push the Dahan out of there into safety, but I probably want to defend there. We still have this defend card. We can target B8 with that, and that would wipe the board. Wipe the land, not the board, but yeah. The Ravage in C1... Ravage in C1 is done. Okay, so if I can move this town out of C7 into a land that doesn't see C4, I think we avoid the build in C4. Because the Ravage that happens in B8, if it's defended with Sap the Strength, there's going to be no town there, and then there will be nothing seeing C4. So this build won't happen. So we want to push out of C7. Now we have to be exceptionally careful with where we push it. We can't push into C5. Shouldn't push it into C4. Shouldn't push it into B8. I mean, that will not... Like, those lands see C4. So the other options are C6, C8, and B7. It's probably better to put it into C6, but they're gonna... No, they're gonna build their next turn, so that's especially bad. I can stop that build if I push into B7, though. Okay, so B7 is the answer. This is gonna be pushed into B7. Rather, you're gonna do that. But do we want Dahan to go in there? Because we can push a Dahan into there. And Tidal Boon, you can push a Dahan out of there. So we can kind of do like a series of pushes to get a Dahan into a place where we want it to be. The only real effect would be we could put this Dahan from C6 into B8 with the 2 cards, but I'm not sure. Like, we don't need more Dahan in B8. That's covered. We don't need more Dahan in C4. We don't need more Dahan in C1. We also have this Raging Storm that we could play next turn, but what would it do next turn? I guess this could be done in the slow phase, so that will at least stop one build. Because, like, land C is actually pretty darn well maintained. But yeah, where do we want Dahan to be ultimately? That's the question, and I'm not sure where. I guess well, I could put a Dahan in B8 and push it into B6. But then I'm not doing this. I have to do this to this. Push that there. But yeah, I don't really know of a good chain here. We want this to go into a land with towns and cities, in any case. Maybe we should assume that we will have a means of dealing with B4 in some capacity. I'm not sure what that means is. The only thing that's happening is that Ocean is drawing a card. Your other cards can't target that land. But if I get a Dahan in there and we can defend it, then it takes out the town there. They're gonna still build there, but at least they won't build a city there. But if I can't defend it, it's a loss of a Dahan. It's also Cascading Blight, which is gonna blight the island, which is really bad. So I'm not sure how we can solve the B4 problem. Oh. I'm just going to assume that we'll have this problem solved. Because we need to solve it in some capacity. We have no fear card right now either, so we don't have any extra assistance there. So you're definitely reclaiming. You have 5 energy. You could take a major. You have 3 card plays too. One of which might be Elemental Boon. Should I take the major? I think I do. The minor, though, there's a lot of minor defense still. And if I have 6 cards, I could play 3 of them this turn, 3 of them next turn, and not have to reclaim next turn. Although I could gain a power card next turn and get a 6th card that way if I do a major this turn. Question is, like, this isn't a major problem, it's a minor problem, but like, this would be enough to fend, except we need a presence in there, which is hard. We could get a presence in there if lightning does this, though. Range 2, range 0 would give a sacred sight. So I guess that would be an option. Do I go for the minor? Do I go for the major? I always want to hold off on majors, but majors are good. Like, I don't like the aspect. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I get why. But taking a major when you only have 5 cards means you have to forget one of these 5 cards. Which card do I forget? I'm going to take a minor because Elemental Boon is a good card. And I could still get a defend off of this. And all I need is a defend. And we get a defend range 1 sacred. Oh, but that's not good enough. We don't have a sacred sight. Dark and Tangled Woods, however, is perfect. Mountain Jungle, that works. How good would Claim Me? Oh, you mean that card. How good would Claim be? I don't know. It's Ocean. Ocean would like to be inland. But we have the defend. We also have Land of Haunts and Embers. But I think it has to be Dark and Tangled Woods. Devouring Ants doesn't do it. Nature's Resilience would do it, but we don't have a sacred site. And we're gathering out. So it's bad. So it has to be Dark and Tangled Woods. And it doesn't matter which one of these it is, but B3 has more cover, or B1 has more coverage than B3. And we also have to gather from here. This one's not as straightforward. C2 sees C4, C1 doesn't see C4, but C1 sees C6. How many times can I say C in the same sentence? C1 sees C6. Let's push from C1. Or gather into C0 from C1. So lightning could do double presence. But would have 1 energy left for next turn, unless I could do add a presence, gain energy, go for 4 card plays, and have a good buffer for the next turn. That might be better. But having a sacred site in B4 would also be pretty good, because that's... Scratch that. Sacred site in B5 would be even better, because we really need to deal with all of these towns and cities. Lightning can deal with B6, but Ocean can't, right? So we really need to have a sacred site near B6. So I think it's double presence to teleport lightning over there. And I want 4 card plays. I don't think I can really justify 5 card plays. 5 card plays is sexy and all, but with Elemental Boon, I can get the 5th element without a 5th card play. So I think I'm gonna focus on the energy track for the moment. so that we can get a lightning that can sustain itself. So if we're gonna elemental boon, say next turn, we can't play elemental boon this turn. So if we can avoid playing elemental boon, you have 3 card plays. Dark and Tangled Woods is one of them. So this Ravage is done, this Ravage is done, this Ravage needed this defend, so that's done. We have a Raging Storm for something, depending on what happens. Neither of these builds are happening in the Westland. These 2 builds are happening, but they're not ravaging just yet. We have a potentially another escalation if this is not a coastal card, which means there's going to be 5 things in here. We really need to watch out for that, but what can we do? You don't need that defend this turn. We want to save boon for next turn. We can gather and explore, but that's not going to do anything per se. This build's happening whether this explorer is here or not. We can drown out of B1, but that's going to drown the Dahan. I also could have drowned out of C1, but that's going to drown the Dahan. I have a tidal boon. That's probably the only other option. But it's still a bit of a iffy situation. I guess we do have B5 now that Lightning owns. Plus Lightning likes energy, right? Why am I taking energy track if I'm just going to keep booting Lightning? So I want to save that defend for next turn because we're going to want it. Maybe, maybe not. No, we don't need that defend next turn. This is coastal. I might just play this for the elements. Like, this gives me this level, which drowns a city. I mean, any card basically drowns a city. This gives me a mountain, though, right? No, it doesn't. But what else am I gonna do? The problem is it's coastal, but there's no coastal actions happening next turn. I guess there's a small chance that they explore jungle. Well, they're not exploring jungle, but they could explore coastal next turn, right? No, but even then, there's not an explorer in there. They're not exploring there. Well, they will explore, but the yeah. I don't need that defend this turn or next turn. But I guess it's still a fear card. Like, Ocean is going to reclaim, right? Not reclaim, but would reclaim 2 rounds from now, basically. Yeah, I want to avoid drowning Dahan, but I guess I could just suck it up and do it. But if I save this card for next turn, I'll have 2 Earths next turn. Well, potentially 2 Earths with Elemental Boon, but depending on what we're doing here, I might not have that. Let's just go with that. We're playing that for fear. We're going to sap the strength in B8. We're going to get fear somewhere where it doesn't matter. We're going to defend this land. We have a Raging Storm that could be done, but we should wait for the fast or slow phase. None of these cards deal damage, right? So I could combo Raging Storm with other things. I mean, what's kind of slightly tempting is actually using Raging Storm in B4. That will take out the Explorer, it will damage the town. Dahan takes the town out, but it's not going to stop the build. It's going to build a town anyway. I'm going to use the Dahan to take out the town, so it's going to be, like, not any different. So we're just done. We're going to wait. Build in the sands only happens there. Ravage in the jungle is safe everywhere. Build in the jungle. and they're exploring mountains. So this is now really scary. 5. Really needs to deal with B6. Also need to deal with C7. Also need to deal with B2. We need to deal with everything. Okay, so drown a city. Let's do that here. That's the only place that we can do that. We have a raging storm. We could do that in C3, and then we don't worry about this coast here. We could call the deeps that as well. Is there a better place for raging storm? This is gonna ravage again next turn. But you're gonna reclaim, and you have a defend card. You have sap the strength, so you can defend in B4. Or just destroy the town fast. We also have to deal with it in B8 as well, though, but I feel like we're not worried about that. I could push a town out of B5. Push a town out of B7 or C7. Yeah, here's where it's really dangerous next turn. They're building in the jungles, they're ravaging in the jungle. So if I don't do anything about C7, they're gonna build a town in C4 and then ravage, and that will blight. I could take the town out of C7. That's probably the better option. There's still a town in B8, but if I can destroy that fast, then the build doesn't happen in C4. Like, this is the danger turn, where there's going to be a build and a ravage. So I guess I am more worried about B4 than I should be, because they're going to build a city there. Defend 5 would be good enough. This is also going to always build something. So we're going to need to not just destroy this, but also defend this. But Lightning's going to draw a card. So there might be a defend off of that. But I think setting up for destroying this town and preventing the build in C4 is something I should do. So push this into B7. Raging Storm in C3. Just to stop that build and keep this coast clear. Okay. Also, high immigration doesn't happen, or not high immigration. People want to say high immigration, but it's the escalation. If we can take out the city in C7, then there's no escalation on land C. So even if, like, this builds or something stupid, they're not going to escalate into this, as long as I destroy that city. But you're reclaiming, you have 4 energy, which is a lot for lightning. But I think it's still a minor because you have to at least play Shatter Homesteads. And you'll probably need to boon Ocean fast. Maybe. So we're going to do minor for lightning. So fire cards are ideal, 0 energy cards are ideal. Shadows of the Burning Forest is both. 2 fear and push an explorer in town out of mountains jungle. I mean, that's kind of like we're in the situation where this is ideal because the next 2 turns are mountain jungle focus. I mean, the previous turn was jungle focus, but, you know, we are in a situation where we're only seeing mountain and jungle issues. That's 0 energy, and it pushes an explorer in a town and gives us fear. So, like, we push, and that is what range? I guess that's the other consideration. It's range 0, so that's problematic. We could put a presence in B4, I guess. No, we can't, because we're not growing. I mean, we're growing, but we're not presencing. So I can't get that range that I want for that. So it's range 0. So that's not actually going to be super helpful this turn. But I don't need it for this turn. Well, It's slow though, right? So I could push out of C7 maybe if I don't deal with that. Entrancing Apparitions is defend 2, range 1. That would solve B8 if we destroy that town. Call to Migrate is really good just for Dahan things though. Gather 3, push 3 is like, you know, Dahan teleporting where we want it to be. And it gives both of the elements, fire and air. Also, pushing 2 towns is pretty good by itself. Takes the 2 towns out of B7, stops the city build in B7. If I can do that fast. What is Ocean doing? I think we want to do this growth option, unless we need to do double growth for some reason. The problem is we want to, like, we already used the reclaim route, so we've already gathered a presence from each ocean. So we undid one of the pushes, or the push. If I don't do this option this turn, I'll have to reclaim next turn if I play my hand. And then I'm not going to have presence on lands. They're all going to be in the ocean, so I'm going to have much bigger problems with, like, being able to drown towns and cities in my land. I won't be able to do that. So in order to maintain my presence on the land, I would need to do growth option 3. So is there a reason to not do growth option 3? So the cards you're playing right now are giving you 2 water and 1 earth. Elemental boon can give you another earth, so we can destroy it or drown a city. You also could get to 4 card plays. If that happens to be a water and an earth, you'd be able to drown a town or a city. So, like, if we put a presence in B2, you could take out the town and the city there and really work well towards, you know, dealing with that problem. I'm not sure that we're dealing with B4 currently, right? So you would need to find a card that might help with B4. Although Lightning could do that with Shadows of the Burning Forest. But still, they're going to build and Ravage there, so we still need to do something that defends there slightly, maybe. Is it major? Like, Call of the Deep, well, if I take a minor, it could be water and earth. If I take a major, it could be water and earth. I'd have to forget a card. It would have to be one of these cards in order to really play my hand and get all of this action happening. Hello, Fugsy. We're sitting here with England trying to tackle the problems of the East Coast. This card, this is Mountain Jungle 2. So this card could come in handy the next turn for B2. So I don't really want to forget that card. Tidal Boon is not necessarily super necessary, but it does give lightning energy. Grasping Tide gives a defend that also works in B2. So what do I want? Major, minor? I want cards that drown. I have this card that drowns. I mean, a presence in B2 will already take care of that, right? We'll do the drowning. I guess I'm gonna try for the major. We'll see what we get. If I can get a major that deals with B6, I guess that would be really good. Tsunami. Unfortunately, this only affects coastal lands. But hey, Tsunami, that's a card that's both water and earth. Also don't have enough energy to play it this turn. So I can't play Accelerated Rot this turn either, right? Because I'm not getting energy this route. Actually, no, I could take Presence here and have an extra energy, so I could play Accelerated Rot that way. 2 fear, 4 damage. You don't have sun cards or plant cards, so you're not getting that innate. Tsunami, I have all the elements for that, but I'd be destroying a lot of Dahan that way. An excellent draw of major cards without actually helping much. I don't think we need to use each other's presence because I think, like, we basically have good coverage of the board right now between Lightning and Ocean. Lightning sees the inner lands a lot more easily, but Ocean can't target the inner lands because most of Ocean's things are coastal anyway, so that I don't think Entwined Power is going to help with that. Gaining power cards, you know, can or cannot be helpful. Extra cards so that Lightning doesn't have to reclaim as often, but I don't think this is necessarily progressing. Vigor of the Breaking Dawn is good. Range 2, land with Dahan. So there's no Dahan in B6, but we could set up for there to be Dahan in B6. Do we still have this? Yeah, you just reclaim. So you could push 2 Dahan from B8 into B6, and then there'd be 4 damage then. I mean, obviously that's not the immediate priority, but that would at least progress somewhere. But none of these are defend cards. So we have to be really mindful of what happens in B4. I feel like it's Vigor of the Breaking Dawn, even though it doesn't provide the elements that Ocean wants. Yeah, it's totally wrong elements. Accelerated Rot at least gives me a water, but I don't really need water too much. Like, you get 2 innate water. So you only need 2 extra water to reach these innates, but you need... I guess you also need 2 moons and 2 earths, but you don't need your innate elements if you have the card plays, right? But Tsunami gives me every single element I want. But the problem isn't that there's danger coasts, it's that there's danger not coasts, right? This is not coast. Like, B4, B5, and B6 are super danger right now. Neither of those are coast. B2 is a danger spot, but we can slowly whittle it down. I could take Tsunami and use it next turn, I guess. Use it on B2. I'm completely changing my course of thought here, but like, I don't have to trigger the threshold. I can cross that out and just do 2 fear, 8 damage, because they're going to build a town. 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. So that's 8 damage would stop that blight. It's the perfect amount of damage. Then I don't need to put a presence there. Don't need to set up to drown things. But I guess that was going to be my drown target anyway. Yeah, build into Ravage is what's especially bad. But I think we're slightly fine. Do we have a lightning card that does enough defend? Yeah, so we just need 2 defend in B4. No, B8. We need 2 defend in B8. We have Sap the Strength for B4. I can't afford Tsunami this turn, but I could use it next turn and have it boon so I can use it fast. It's a coastal card, and we don't have many coastal problems. That's the thing. So it might just be Vigor. I'm getting back to Vigor here. But it combos well with various effects. Also, I just realized. That's the Victory guy. That's the Victory guy. It's Victory guy. It's Victory guy. It's Victory guy. I know this is like old news, but I just realized this and it's cool. Yeah, these aren't... Are there any other cards in here that are looking for certain elements? I guess I already have a plant card from Dark and Tangled Woods. Is it also a sun card? No. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna take Vigor. What am I going to forget? Probably Tidal Boon. Or Dark and Tangled Woods. But that can help next turn now. Maybe. Do I need it next turn? I don't think I do. What range is that? Range 1? I mean, maybe I do need it for B2, but... I'm gonna drown things in there. They're gonna build a town. There's 6 things in there. Oh. This is still up. That's awkward. I probably want to forget coastal cards just so I can keep cards that will target other things, but if I do that, I'm going to lose my elements. I think I'm going to lose Dark and Tangled Woods. I'm regretting everything right now. I could play my hand. Do I need to play my hand? I need a presence in beat 2. I'm gonna have to reclaim next turn anyway, so let's go play my hand. Let's try to get presence, visibility in all these places. So that gives me 2 fear. I need an earth to drown a city. Boon gives me an earth, but what else would I need with Boon? We need that to defend. Let me undo for a second, just double check. I need that to defend, but I also need to deal with the things in there. But no, if I do 2 defend and deal with this town, 2 defend is enough for that. So you have to play Entrancing Apparitions for B7. You have to play Sap the Strength for B4. We have Vigor, and it's fast. We have to use it fast. So, are we using this fast? Do we need to boon fast? Do we need to boon something? You only have this and this. Those aren't problems this turn. So those can be saved slow. We can save Lightning's Boon. You have 2 more card plays. So we have to deal with this town. That could be Shatter Homesteads. It could be Innate. Currently, we have made not much progress to the Innate, but if you play 2 of these cards and get Elemental booned, you can destroy a town. So it doesn't have to be Shatter Homesteads. Would Raging Storm help? 1 damage to each invader. I'm thinking. We could do a lot of damage in B6. If I could push 2 Dahan into it and Raging Storm. We could take out 2 cities. That is so tempting. I also think that's not a problem. that I need to. I think I don't need to worry. Well, I mean, I do need to worry about this. They're gonna, like, we need to deal with this in some capacity, but I just need to take out one town there, right? What if I go back to my thought of taking out the last city in B7, C7? If I do a damage to each thing, and there's one Dahan in there, and I Vigor of the Breaking Dawn, which is a terribly pathetic one, that would take out the city. I think that's way too much energy to deal with a minor problem. But it would stop the escalation in land B. So we could focus all of our efforts. Sorry, I keep saying this is B. This is C. We could do everything in C and then only focus on B for like the next turn. They're building there anyway. Even if I do all the damage there, they're gonna build there anyway. I don't know if it's... What if I push the Dahan into B7 and then did Vigor of the Breaking Dawn there? Can you reach that? It's range 2. Yeah, you can. You have a path. That takes out the 2 towns. They're going to build a town, so it stops the city build. We have all the jungles defended. We're not going to have the high immigration next turn because this is a stage 2 card. So we're done with the high immigration. They still build B7. No, but they still build, but they're not going to build a city. If I take out the 2 towns. That seems slightly more valued than stopping the escalation in land C. Is left board number 4 being prevented? Yes, I'm going to take this town out, and it's not going to see 2 buildings. So the build in C4 is not happening. We're going to take that out by booning a fire to lightning and using the innate on land B8. So I don't need a Raging Storm, I think, is the thing. Because I can't find a place where it would be super awesome to combo with Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. I mean, B6 is sexy, right? But I just keep thinking they're gonna build something in that because of the escalation. I could set up to Raging Storm next turn. Ocean's reclaiming anyway. But Lightning might also reclaim too, for that matter. So, John, how are you doing tonight? I started watching Jorbs last night. I wasn't watching an over-explain, I was just looking at some older video of Jorbs. I was actually watching his first attempt at, I know this is terribly off topic, but there's a slight reason to this. I I was watching his like first attempt at the heart. Like I think it was like a beta or yeah, beta heart. It didn't even have the music yet. It was probably like the very first exposure anyone had to the heart. And Jorbs ended up beating the heart in the first turn. Because at the time, Invincible 100 meant that the heart could only take at most 100 damage from one damage source. It didn't mean 100 damage over the entire turn. So Jorbs managed to combo him and take him out. Anyway, the reason that I bring it up is I was watching several Jorbs videos. And what I like about him, actually, I mean, he has a really soft voice and he speaks, you know, but he spends a lot of time just thinking. He doesn't voice his thoughts. He just sits here thinking. He also stares at a lot of things. He pulls this up and then looks at this, looks at the deck, looks at this. But he just sits there sitting and thinking without voicing what his thoughts are, which is so calm, so elegant. He also, you know, communicates his thoughts from time to time, but he thinks without speaking, which is, when you're speaking, you're spending energy thinking. You're spending energy voicing your thoughts, which means you're not actively thinking. And he wiggles the mouse sometimes. Yeah, so I'm just sitting here trying to think about the fact that, like, I have to play this. I have to play Sept of Strength. I have to play Entrancing Apparitions. If I want to destroy the town in B8, I could just simply use Shatter Homesteads, right? I don't have to play any other card. I could give up on setting up for this Thundering Destruction, but instead save these cards for next turn, so I don't have to reclaim. Because the jungle problem is solved. The mountain builds are going to happen no matter what I try to do with them during the fast phase this turn. So I think what I might want to do is forego that. This boon then would be very ocean-centric then. But an earth gives a city destruction. Oh, but you don't have, you would need like one more of each element to get that, so that would be a bit of a wasteful boon, but you do need that boon in order to destroy a city. I guess if we're saving Lightning's boon for next turn, I could, well, but you're reclaiming anyway, so you might as well play that. Can I get away with this? Because like, if I play another card, I could set up for a boon to help Lightning, but then I wouldn't. I would have to reclaim the next turn. I only have 2 card plays. I mean, I could just play those 2 cards, but I would like to be able to have a super turn. I guess you're not going to get to 5 fire, though, so you're not going to destroy multiple towns and cities in the same action. But you're not doing that unless you don't play Shatter Homesteads. If you don't play Shatter Homesteads, we don't have a means of dealing with this town. If we don't have a means of dealing with this town, Entrancing Apparitions isn't going to help us. They're going to build a city there, and that land is screwed. Yeah, I think we want Shatter Homesteads. I guess then I have Vigor of the Breaking Dawn that's not doing much, though. Vigor of the Breaking Dawn targets B8. I don't need Shatter Homesteads for B8. Okay, we might have a solution. We might be able to destroy 3 cities in B6 next turn. Let's try this. Can't wait until we have Wildfire and I have to embrace the plate. I need to play with the newer spirits. I don't have the first promo, I think. Serpent Slumbering Beneath the Hungry Earth. Is that, no, Serpent Slumbering Beneath the Earth? Something like that. I don't have Serpent. I have read up on Serpent. I would like to play Serpent. And I think there's one other promo spirit. But I think I have everything else. I have Branching Claw, I have Jagged Earth, and I have the promo pack that came with Jagged Earth. So unless there's an extra promo collection that I'm not aware of, I think I have everything. I also don't have the thematic boards though. But I think that's part of promo pack 1. I signed up for like an email from Greater Than Games if it gets in stock though, so maybe. Serpent slumbering beneath the island. I realized that Hungry Earth was incorrect because it's actually a card. Heart of the Wildfire. Oh, okay, there's the promo spirit. Okay. So what are we doing here? We have a Call of the Deeps that... I guess we take these 2 explorers. Those are the only 2 we can take anyway. We're defending 2 here. We're defending 5 there. We're Vigor of the Breaking Dawn there. We're booning Lightning for no discernible reason. That threshold is reached. That's not a threshold. You can't meet that threshold. But yeah, boon Lightning so that you both benefit from elements, but we want Earth. And that's it. You can also have a water and a moon. So close to that. We also have a fear card, so maybe that fear card will like do something for us, but here, there. So once I flip this, this is done. So let's just double check. We took out B8. They're gonna build a town from the high escalation, but that land's defended. It's gonna take the town back out. There are not 2 towns or cities next to C4, so that build's not happening. Nothing in C1, so that's not happening. And we have defend 5 here. They're gonna build a city. 3, 5, 6 is enough. Yeah, 6 minus 5, so then we'll take out the town there or something. Building in the mountains, they're gonna build there. They're gonna escalate into there, so that's gonna be a second city, which is painful. But I could just deal with it with this. Yeah, the next turn is probably going to be super rough, so it's probably good to keep those cards for next turn. We could have dealt with C7, but I think it's just a fool's errand, right? It's also going to build anyway because of, yeah, the 2 towns there. That they were going to build in there regardless, even if I took that all out. Yeah, I think we're good. Think we're good. Remove a town or explorer from a land with a sacred site. There is only one land that has a sacred site and a town or an explorer, and it's E5. Take out that town, take out that explorer. Those are the only 2 valid options. Building in the jungle, ravaging in the jungle. That guy out. There. Building in the mountains. And exploring coastal. Okay, no escalation. Pretty good. So Ocean is gonna have to draw these 2 explorers from C1 and C2. The Ravage in a mountain takes out C3, so the West Coast is again free from danger. This is a pretty good game. So I think we wanted to do this here. You can also drown a city there. That's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Okay, Ocean is reclaiming, gaining a power. 6 energy. High immigration is gone. Yay, we survived. Island is not blighted yet. I feel like we're in a good state. So you have to play Call of Deeps to stop 2 builds. You probably have to play Elemental Boons so that we get this threshold on lightning. And you have to give lightning fire, air, and water for that to happen. Breaking news, you fixed your B rang. I don't know what your B rang is. Sorry. I'm not adding a presence. So you have 2 more card plays. You're not getting any more earth. So I guess the question is, what are we doing with all of this crap? I guess we didn't have the escalation happen in C7, so actually it's a bit tragic. But we could still use this innate on C7. In fact, if I do that, I don't need the upper tier, so I could just do this 3rd tier and take out C7. Oh, you're a great weapon in Breath of Fire. I've never played Breath of Fire, that's why I didn't understand. So if I do that, so you will still need 5 fire, but you're gonna have the 4 air and 1 water from your place. So you're getting a fire. So light, so ocean could get 2 elements off of this then. So Call of the Deep's elemental boon, 2 more cards. Are you playing Vigor the Breaking Dawn effectively? None of the mountain lands have Dahan in them. One of them could, right? If we push 2 Dahan into there and deal 4 damage with Call of the things, not that, but Vigor. We probably want the defend in B2. Forgot the other defend card. So this is the defend card. However, if you have Lightning's Boon, which you will, you could drown a town fast. So you don't need the defend, which you might need next turn because of the coastal here. You have 4 card plays. I think we want to do a minor power just because you have 4 card plays. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? I kind of want to make sure I keep enough cards so that I can go 2 rounds. Let me rephrase. If I have N card plays, I would like to have about 2 N cards. How about that? That's my thinking. Because if I take a major power, I'm forgetting about power in hand. I'm still going to have 6 cards in hand. If I play 4 of them, and I don't have to play 4 of them, but if I play 4 of them, I'll only have 2 in hand. Even if I gain a power card, I'll have 3. I won't be able to play 4 cards. But if I gain a minor, my card, I'll have 7 cards. I could play 4 of them, gain a power next turn. It could be major, and I could forget one of the cards in my discard and still play 4 cards. So I think in terms of, being able to play as many cards as possible, I want to do a minor power this turn. Even though there's a lot of issues happening here, I kind of feel confident that we can deal with them. At the very least, we could let B7 Blight because we've been playing this game really well. We still have 2 Blight in our card. Lightning can deal with C7 if Lightning gets an extra fire. Actually, you don't even need that. You could just destroy the town in there. But I think with the fire, you could take the town destruction elsewhere. So I think we're safe. I can do a minor power, increase my volume of cards, and have enough to play 4 cards next turn. Encompassing Ward gives you water and earth. And a defend 2. Which is enough for B2. So here's the thing. We don't have any cities on this coast yet. Although I guess there will be a city build, so we can do this. If you get to 4 water, 3 earth, which I don't think you're actually getting to because you have to do something. No, if you don't play Vigor of the Breaking Dawn, you get this. You get this. If you take Encompassing Word, it's a lot easier. You don't have to play Tidal Boon and Swallow the Land Dwellers. Yeah, I think it's Encompassing Word. So you don't call the... Oh, you have to push presence. Or gather into each ocean. This land is like a joke right now. And then land B. Encompassing Ward, you need to have your presence there. Both of these lands have a town and an explorer, so for drowning purposes, they're equally valid, but B1 has an easier path to B6, which is the bigger problem. Also, B1 also sees B4, so I think that's what we want there. Okay, so that needs to be played. That should be played. That is an option. And if you want to be able to drown multiple things... I guess the problem, though, is... if I want to drown in here and in here... like, if I want to use Ocean Breaks the Shore in one of those lands, but also swallow the land dwellers in the other land... There's 2 Dahan in here already. Could I Vigor the Breaking Dawn this land? They're gonna build a city. Oh, but I can't do it after they build a city. We need an anti-lightning spirit. We need a spirit that allows you to use fast power slow. For each Earth you play, you may use 1 fast power slow. I did see the anti-ocean spirit. The one that can only be in inland lands, cannot be coastal. I use this fast, it doesn't stop a build, because there's too much crap. There's too much crap. You can potentially stop the build in B3, though. If I take out this town instead of defending there. If I Vigor B3, and I deal with B2 in some capacity, if I use Swallow the Land Dwellers in B2, then there isn't 2 adjacent towns, so this doesn't build. They're going to build a city here, which if I get an Earth off of Elemental Boon, we can drown that city. Still need to make progress on B6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're not going to build there. Or if they build there, we don't lose. I mean, they're going to escalate there. We already got our coastal card, so they're going to escalate there. So we need to deal with this at some point. And they're still going to build in C7. Or no, they're not building. No, they're building in the coast. They're not building here. Their escalation isn't happening if we take that out. Right. So this might just be light. I've not done anything with what I'm doing with lightning at all, but it's just these 4 cards, so that's not really this thing. And I'm probably just gonna. You'll have 7. Yeah, I have enough energy to play all of that. Like, I'm kind of playing lightning terribly in the sense of I'm not trying to get this super tier innate every turn. I mean, I guess we want to use that in B6 because why not, right? Destroy 2 cities in a town. I want to take out the stuff in C7 and stop the escalation. Also, those are all of your innate cards. The cards in your discard are the cards you gained. We kept all of your innate cards. We're getting that. We're getting the next fear. We might get 2 fears. How far away from the next terror level? Yeah, it's happening. We're getting to that terror level. We're very far from winning the game in terms of there being no towns or cities on the board, because there's a bajillion cities on the board. But I think we're starting to get Lightning in a situation where Lightning could play their hand. I think to assist that, like, if we're gonna basically want to play these cards as often as we want, I'm going to want a lot of base energy. Because if you take 4 energy per turn and you gain an energy from reclaiming, you're gonna have 5 energy per turn. This costs 6 energy total. But if we can basically plan around having enough energy to sustain that basically every round, that would be pretty good. Elemental Boon is necessary to get to the upper tiers, but we don't need those every turn, I think. I mean, we would really like it next turn, but we also really want it this turn as well. I think I'm doing double presence. Where do I want your sacred site to be? It's obviously over here. We already have good visibility everywhere, though. You're already range 1 of everything except for B3, which is basically going to be dealt with. I could just put it in B3. I could also just, instead of doing Sacred Site, oh, but this is, the second one is range 0. So this basically says put a Sacred Site within range 2. Not necessarily, but I think I'm going to put it just in B3. So now Lightning has complete 1 range visibility of land, of board B. You still have 3 energy left over. So you're going to have 7 energy next turn. Plus 1 is 8. This costs 6 energy. So we're gaining 5, spending 6. We'll be able to do these 4 card plays for the next 2 rounds without any issue. Which is exciting. Let's see what we can do. Let's see where we're at. So you only need a fire to get to destroy 2 things to take out the town and the city in C7. Raging Storm would take out those 2 explorers. Yeah, I guess unless I don't take out, if I don't take out those explorers, they're still gonna blight the land. So I do need to do something there. Probably want to set up to get Dahan in B6, so let's push Dahan there. Just be careful though, because... Oh, I guess you could use everything fast. You have 4 air, and one of them is a fast card, so that's fine. Destroying a town somewhere, 1 damage somewhere. So if I just do this... We're gonna need to boon you before we proceed further. You need fire. Ocean needs earth. and then the next one doesn't affect anything. We're not going to get any other thresholds. So just take another air. So now this is Drown a City, which we can do slow. We also have a boom, but I don't think we really need it. I guess I could drown the town in there. Like, I guess that could still just happen. Bigger the Breaking Dawn is happening there. Right, we have to deal with that fast anyway. I guess I was thinking I could shatter homesteads there. I could just shatter homesteads in B6 and lighten that problem. We have to do this here. Could also stop the build here. Okay, we have to call the deal before I forget. The ravage is happening in the mountains, so we're gonna take the non-mountain explorers out. We're gonna drown this guy. If I shatter homesteads here, now B2's not building and B3's not building. The only build next turn is B1, or this turn is B1. So the only thing that we have to protect against is the ravage in B1. This is really good. Because they're going to build a town there. That's super easy. We just have Grasping Tide and that defends it. Awesome. So Fear. We have 2 Fear cards now. And I guess I'm just going to drown whatever they build anyway, because I was planning on drowning multiple things. I guess I'm not now. Is that good or bad though? Because I'm getting less fear off of that. I think it's still good to get 2 fear cards this turn. It just seems a bit funny. I also have Encompassing. I have all these cards and none of them are going to matter for the next turn. Ocean might just reclaim on virtue of these cards do nothing for Ocean. Let's save this for the slow so I drown the town that builds there. Yeah. Fear card. Each player removes 2 explorers or a town from a land with Dahan. That takes out a town. And that takes out a town. Player removes a town or an explorer from an inland land. Now, if I take out the town from here, the escalation's gonna build a city in B7. Like, I'm setting up to use Vigor on B6 in a future turn. So I want there to be more stuff happening in B6. So I'm gonna take out the town from here. Take out a second town. There's no other place where I could use this, right? These are the only inland spots. This explorer is doing nothing by himself. So I'm gonna take out this town. It's like less fear, but it's, you know, this stops England from winning. But I think that those just really cleared a lot of the board for us without having to like worry. The exploration is in the sands. Okay. Let's drown this guy. Cool. If I lose this game, I'll be sad. Also, the escalation didn't happen in C because... well, in the home stretch. The escalation didn't happen in C because C is clear. C is super clear right now. You're reclaiming. If I'm basically playing the same 4 cards each turn, this is probably a fine opportunity to take a major for Lightning. Ocean's also taking a card. I'm probably just gonna do this option. I was thinking of reclaiming, but even though we don't really have much to have to do, we still want to keep your presence out. So I feel like every time I reclaim, I also need to push from each ocean, because this is gather, this is push. I feel like I need to do these equally, otherwise I'm not going to have presence on the coast. I'll only have 2 energy if I do that. I'm going to add a presence. I can only get 1 more energy. I'm happy with 4 card plays. I feel like 4 card plays is a happy spot where I'm not like playing my hand every turn and having to reclaim every turn. But I don't think I have the energy to play a major power. I guess I could, like, I would like to play these cards for elements, I guess. So let's take a minor. Actually, before I do that, let's just take major for lightning. Yeah, lightning's doing major just because this is a weird situation for lightning. Okay. Well, Pillar of Living Flame. Four fire is easy. Winds of Rust also. If I don't take Winds of Rust, then Wargasm's gonna have to talk about the time that we tried to convince the stream to take Winds of Rust. But Pillar of Living Flame is very tempting. The problem is I can't use it in the wetland without a cascade and blighting the island. Which, I mean, like, if that wins the game, then who cares? Island blighted, but Explorer's dead. But 10 damage, 3, 6, 8, 10 would take out all the towns and cities. Which is so tempting. Would you have enough energy to play that? You're playing 6 energies worth of cards. You'd be basically replacing Raging Storm with Pillar of Living Flame, which Raging Storm wasn't doing much for us anyway. It is providing us with a water and an air, but we could just get that off of... Well, I guess we're not getting Lightning Spoon this turn, are we? Or not Lightning Spoon, but Elemental Boon. Do I want to blight the island just to clear this land? Because that doesn't end the game, though. Take a blight removal for ocean. I guess we could get a blight removal card and then do Pillar of Living Flame on B6. That is a possibility. How many blight removals are left in here? That's one. That's one. I do have stacks of presents. I do have stacks of presents. We are at a situation where because we've been doing so well with Lightning's growth, like, Lightning actually has 7 presents on the board. Like, this is... How many times have you seen a Lightning have 4 energy per turn? Yeah, infinite vitality. Yeah. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it is Pillar of Living Flame. But I guess now's the time to do the thing for Ocean. Every time you play Lightning, it's with Rivers. You usually end up in Reclaim loop by turn 3 and never placing presents again. Yeah. I don't know that it's necessarily good play, TBH. But I feel like getting a solid foundation here I mean, part of it though is the fact that I don't need 5 card plays because I have Elemental Boon on Ocean. Because an Elemental Boon on an other spirit is really good because this gives you 5 elements without having to play 5 cards, which is otherwise really difficult. If Lightning got Elemental Boon, it would be really hard. I would still have to play 5 cards. So Elemental Boon is kind of an interesting card. Seamus was talking about how it's overrated last Saturday, and I can see that, but I think that it can be really powerful if you think about it as a boost to another spirit, because it takes away their need for a card play to get certain thresholds. So the question is major or minor? I'm not drowning much this turn, so I'm not going to have much energy this turn. I'm not going to have much energy next turn, so I think it's minor. We did not get blight removal, though. We did get Call of the Dahan Ways. That powers up Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. Yeah, Lightning benefits a ton from other boons, indeed. Like, River's boon gives him energy. Energy per card play, so play 5 cards, get 5 energy. Elemental boon gives the elements. River's Tidal boon gives 2 energy. So yeah. I guess boon is a shorthand for gift another spirit something. Is there any reason not to take Call of the Dahan Ways here? This turn is exceptionally funny because, like, the Ravage we're already done with. The Ravage is done. I guess they're building in C2, but who cares about C2? The Ravage is done. So it's kind of a really funny turn. I'm not looking for anything in particular. So I guess it's Call of the Dahan Ways, because then we get an extra Dahan in B6 for Vigor of the Breaking Dawn next turn. Also, the escalation is gone because we're now on the stage 3 cards. So this is add a presence to coastal land and push a presence. So do we have Sacred Site need right now? No. So just for the sake of having presence everywhere, I think we could just, like, do this. Now you have a presence in every single coastal land. Because we don't need the Sacred Site just yet, so that's great. So now with Lightning, we're not going to be able to use Pillar of Living Flame, but we don't need that. Because, like, we're gonna do Vigor of the Breaking Dawn in B6. We have to deal with B5. Winds of Rust would deal with B5. We could even have it deal with B5 next turn. It doesn't give a fire, though. The only other fire card is Land Thrashes, but, I mean, am I gonna play Land Thrashes? Doesn't give an air. 2 damage per blight in target land, +1 per blight in adjacent lands. You don't have other moon card. Well, you have 1 moon card. You don't have other earth cards. So, like, this would do 3 damage in B6. It would do 3 damage in B5. Actually, no. It would do 5 damage in B5. It will do 4 damage in B4. I'm not looking at this right. Blight here, blight here, blight here, blight here. So 5 damage in B5, 4 damage in B6, 5 damage in B7. I could play Land Thrashes this turn and take out the build in B5, and I don't worry about having to defend B5 next turn. And we're already set for next turn. Take Pillar, because Pillar is awesome. Okay, well, since you said so nicely, I'm gonna take Land Thrashes. So, because we don't need defend as much, so I think we're taking out Entrancing. We're, like, avoiding we're avoiding ravages from happening, so we're at the point we don't need defend. So one damage to each invader or damage total. Let's do that. I'll still have enough energy next turn to play the usual repertoire and be booned. We're getting a title boon as well, so it doesn't actually matter at all. You're destroying a city. You're drowning a city that's not built. I guess the build is happening in B3. We can drown a town. I guess we also have to think about the factors C2 and B1 happening. We just want to get more Dahan and B6 for vigor next turn. Guess we can also destroy a building town. So what's building? This is building. It's also ravaging. Can I get a Dahan in there? I was hoping to push into B6. I could just push a Dahan into C2 to deal with that problem. Or I could ignore it. I could just ignore it. Lightning could drown the town next turn. Or this turn. Or this turn. I'm just playing cards. I'm not really like thinking of whether I even want these things. Do you need that card? That gives you a mountain. You want that card. So I guess you are playing these cards because all of these are. Do you need Grasping Tide though? It's not helping with any threshold. But it gets 2 fear. We could title boon. Oh, but that's not Lightning's presence. What am I talking about? This is ravaging. This is ravaging. That build's not happening. This build. They're not building there. That build's not happening. That's a ravage. That build isn't happening. That's not ravage. That is ravage. What am I talking about? This is the only issue. And I can drown that. Like, it doesn't matter at all. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to push Dahan there, so that's fine. We can focus on B6. I think I'll just take fear. We'll just be greedy here. We're like overkilling the game, so who cares? I have 3 air and 4 slows. Here, have Lightning's Boon. Don't think you really need it, but have Lightning's Boon. I just played this for elements. Played this for fear. Yeah, Shatter Homestead's Thundering Destruction takes out B5. Oh, I honestly don't know. There's no additional blight, so I might as well do this. This is 4 damage. So that build's not, that doesn't have enough adjacencies, that doesn't have adjacencies, doesn't have adjacencies, that has a bajillion adjacencies, but when we deal with the adjacencies, the game's over. That's doing 4 damage in B6. Well, how much damage is gonna happen next in B6? Because, like, 2 damage per Dahan, we're gonna push a Dahan and transform a town into a Dahan. It's gonna be 8, there's gonna be 4 Dahan, 8 damage, 3, 6, 8, 9. So we're gonna be 1 damage short from clearing that land. But it doesn't matter, just as long as, you know, all the towns and cities are gone. So I don't need to do land thrashes in B6. I guess I'll do it in B7. Because Ocean can see that. Just push this guy in there. Actually, no, I might as well just do that slow, right? Because I want that guy to be taken out by Dahan. I can destroy the town that builds slow. I can destroy the city fast for the fear. That gets me fear card. Yay, we got the fear card. Defend 2 in all the coastal lands. That sounds good to me. Pretty sure we're just going to do it there, but I might as well just do it slow because it's not going to do anything. I mean, the fear card could do something based on Dahan in the land, right? So maybe I do want to do this fast. I'm not sure about Tidal Boon. Can't push a Dahan in a place that would help a lot. I mean, this pushes 2 Dahan. If Dahan are pushed into your ocean, you move them at any coastal land. Okay, so we could get them into B1 if we push out of B3. We want one of those Dahan to stay there. But now we can do Harbingers on the slow phase into B6. I guess this could have been done slow too, but who cares? Actually, I slightly care. Because I could push both the Dahan in the slow phase. Doesn't really matter though, but we're gonna get all the Dahan there next turn, so that'd be good. I think it's GG. I think it's GG. Invaders do not build in lands for Dahan outnumber towns and cities. Unfortunately, well, we're not stopping that build. Oh, I guess we're gonna deal. Oh, we're drowning there. Oh, but was I gonna do that? Oh, I don't know. I forgot what I was doing there, but it doesn't matter. I think I was going to. Oh, I was gonna oceans there. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't stop the ravage because they explored there, but who cares? Okay, now we can take this guy out. Oh, but they're gonna ravage there still. Ugh. And then they're gonna build there, so I would like... So ultimately, okay, yeah, it doesn't really matter because I only pushed 2 Dahan, but we can teleport to Dahan there and then push you there. And then we have Shatter Homesteads to destroy a town, the town that got built there. Yay! All right, can we win the game next turn? I guess we should, right? We have the Dahan army in B6, and we have lightning existing for B4, so we're good. We won England 3, guys. We won England 3. But we can cleansing floods. Probably not. But hey, we can remove a blight. We're looking for blight removal now. Oh, but Ocean would have loved that card too. Ugh. Well, before I do that, because Ocean's reclaiming. Ocean's taking major. Rapping wings for more Dahan shenanigans. Mists of Oblivion. Ocean can get the threshold there with Elemental Boon. Well, it's not super necessary, but hey, that does enough things in there, and we have enough things in there, but... I don't know what Ocean's playing. You need to play, if you're gonna get the threshold on here just to dick around, you have an innate moon. You have an innate water, it's just an extra air. Well, so it's going to be Call of the Deeps and Elemental Boon, and this. So those are your 4 card plays. Except you can't afford all that, so that's tragedy. Let's take out Grasping Tide, because we don't need that anymore. And we have to do something with this. Oh no, boom. Boom. Blight removal is probably the only one that makes sense there. 8 energy. Dahan is another thing that affects points, right? Yeah, I would love to do this to remove Blight, but I can't. So I think it's just the usual gang. You don't even need these thresholds. There. We got 3 city destructions. But we don't need them. I'm just being a dick at this point. See this guy? I can't take him out. I mean, I probably can, right? Yeah, I can take him out. I can take him out. Okay, now I'm back at card place. Okay. Although, how was I dealing with this? I don't remember. Probably just thunder and destruction, so someone else is gonna survive then. Win more. I'm just being a complete dick. Yes, I do. I'm just trying to be a dick. I want to just wipe the board at this point. All right, well, I'm there's still someone annoyingly here. I don't remember how I dealt with you, but you're still there. And he's still there too. Oh well, Adam and Eve survived. We won! England 3! Yay! $53 points. No. We did get an extra point from living Dahan. We birthed a Dahan, or rather converted an explorer into a Dahan, and that gave us 14, which is enough for 7 points. If I had removed a blight, we would have also gained a point. I'm not sure if I could have done all those things. But yeah, we won England 3, which means that on Saturday we're gonna do England 4, right, Ja? I don't know what we're doing on Saturday yet, but hey, we successfully beat England 3 solo. Pretty satisfying. Because like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, whenever I started doing this, I don't remember, I never dreamed of the day that I would be able to do adversaries and be able to feel like, you know, I understood what was going on. Like, I looked at adversary cards, and I'm like, yeah, this is terrible. There's no way I can do this. I still look at this and say, there's no way I can do this, but we figure it out, so. But yeah, so the level up is an extra fear card on terror level 3, which is not relevant in this game. But high immigration remains out the entire game. That definitely would have changed this game tremendously. But I think, like, what was really nice about this game, in addition to, like, I don't know, we got really well set up, but being able to, like, basically turn land C into an empty board helped tremendously. Everything happening in land B was hard to deal with, but everything happening in land C was rather straightforward, so that was good. Says the guy who does all the ultimates in one deck dungeon on crazy difficult. Well, I mean, it's a new game for me. You don't think Lightning and Ocean would notice a ton of difference with England 5? Right. Because how much were we, how often were we dealing damage in this game? I mean, granted, we did, like, use a damage card close to the end. We had the one that dealt damage based on Dahan. I forgot its name already, but that would have definitely been different. But we were definitely doing a lot of straightforward destroy town, destroy city effects. So that 5 would have definitely changed. During any invader phase where you resolve no fear cards, perform the build from high immigration twice. No. The biggest disparity is River, who goes from fantastic against England up to 4, and then is horrible against them at 5. Yep. So all of a sudden, the higher tier innate deal 2 damage to each invader now is bad at destroying towns and cities. Turned from a thing that destroys all towns and wounds all cities to the point where 1 damage takes them out, to the point where, well, the towns now have 1 health and the cities have 2 health. Tons of cards are balanced around towns and cities having the regular health, so that +1 is huge, yeah. I've heard a lot of things about adversaries on 5 and 6 just being terrible. England itself is also terrible, from like what I've heard on forums in Discord. But like I've heard that 5 and 6 for all of the adversaries are just gruesome. Like we did Brandenburg Prussia on 6 on Sunday or Saturday, this past Saturday. It was in Dahan Insurrection, which might have helped. I mean, it changes the way the game is played, but it also feels like the fact that Dahan deal damage when they move makes the game easier. Even though it's difficulty 3, I just feel like it's, in my experiences, but I mean, whatever, to each their own. But 5 and 6, I just feel like that's the point where it starts being more luck. But, I mean, I'm sure the same is said of, like, Slay the Spire on A15. That's the point where it's all luck. And then you have Jorbs, who does A20 streaks, so... Certainly, there will be someone who will come along and say, well, you know, I can beat England 6 5 times in a row. We picked everything to work in our favor. Yeah, we didn't just do random spirits like we sometimes do. We just did intentional selections. Level 1 of England is the worst single effect. The other levels are just ways to compound the level 1 effect, yes. It drastically changes the way the game is played. Emptying a land is no longer safe for builds, and it makes it so much harder. But there being extra build actions also makes indentured servants even worse, because it's like, all right, well, here's an extra build, and oh, by the way, now there are 2 towns and cities next to this land, so we're gonna build here anyway. Yeah, this is just, you know, I stare at this and I say, yeah, this is just terrible. I mean, I will go through this. I will beat England 4, 5, and 6, and I'll certainly play England beyond that, but compared with Brandenburg Prussia and with Sweden, I feel like this is just terrible. But I don't know. There are also later adversaries that are different levels of terrible in different ways. I don't know what ways. I've read their cards, but they also rely on, you know, beasts and strife and other things. And I don't really remember how they all individually work, and even if I know how they work, I haven't played with it to understand how it changes things. Like the one that says if this icon is on this land, prevent the next build. Like obviously that's incredible, but obviously there are things balanced around that too. Some spirits that love, you know, using that, a lot of cards that don't use that sorts of things. I have to play the other expansions in order to better get a handle of how those work. I didn't even realize until I was actually looking through the instructions for Jagged Earth that the blight cards in Branch and Claw, there are some that are nicer. Like, oh, the island's blighted. You get to draw an additional power card each turn. Or, oh, you get to gain an energy and place an additional presence each turn. And it's like, I was like, oh, those are some really nice effects, and they're great and fantastic. Well, I only realized yesterday that the reason they're so nice and fantastic is because the events when you have a blighted island are a lot worse. That's the balance of that. It's not that it's a nice effect, it's that now the events are going to be worse. It's like, great, you get to place an extra presence, but the events are gonna have you destroy presence or something like that, so. Speaking of events, I mean, events certainly change the way the game is played. Random effects that you can't really predict unless you have a very good handle of what all the event cards are, which, if I've never played with event cards, I have no such handle on what event cards are. Yeah, the good The good blighted islands are only 2 extra blight per player, which can be really scary with events. Yeah, because some of them place blight. So, yeah, especially when it's blighted. I think there was one that said place 1 blight per player, and then that's, yeah, that doesn't even, like, even if you have the extra blight from each player, you don't actually have the extra blight per player, because you're placing blight per player. Yeah! But yeah, I want to play that. I'll have to play that solo physically until Handelabra gets off their lazy asses. I'm just kidding. But until the expansions are implemented in the digital game, if they get implemented in the digital game, with my experience with Handelabra, they will eventually do it, but they do need to have the money to do it. It's not an issue if they don't want to do it. It's that they need to have the money to do it. So if you want to support Handelabra games, you should do stuff. You should buy these games. If you're watching and you've never played Spirit Island before, you should look into picking it up. It's a really fun game. Kind of tough to figure out. It's really easy to understand what's going on, but really tough to figure out how to solve the problems before you. But it's not a hard game to learn. It's a hard game to win, but not a hard game to learn. Get it digitally so you don't have to deal with the headache of setting up a land appropriately or having to remember all of the various effects. You can also invest in Sentinels. Sentinels is a completed product, except for Sentinels of Earth Prime, if that releases. But Sentinels of the Multiverse is a complete product. You can get the base game rather cheaply. The expansions do add up, but they're very worth it. Get One Deck Dungeon. The base game and Forest of Shadows is currently implemented, and I think there is a sort of mini expansion that adds something. I don't remember what that something is, but I'm sure that will be implemented in the digital game soon. Aeon's End has a bajillion expansions that aren't implemented yet, but we do have one of them. Which one was it? I will remember what it's called in a second. I don't remember what it's called. Someone's going to remind me in chat. But Aeon's End is another fantastic product that Handelabra has developed. Also Bottom of the Ninth, which I have not personally played, but from my recollection, it's kind of a dice game and can be played solo. And you don't have to know anything about baseball to play it. It's just, you know, baseball terminology would be nice, but or knowledge of baseball terminology would help. But you don't need to know baseball to play that game, if I recall correctly. It's just thematically, it's in the you're on the bottom of the ninth inning. You have to avoid them from scoring a run, otherwise they win, or something. Or you don't want to go into overtime because if you go into overtime, you lose. So you have to maintain your 1-point lead or something. You need to strike out the players, I think, is the theme of the game. You don't need to know exactly what that means to play bottom of the ninth, if I recall correctly. All right, so check out the other streams we have on this channel. Every Tuesday is Handelabra Live with John and sometimes Jeremy, two of the leads of Handelabra, like to demo content before it is publicly available, unless I take it away from them and show you, like, the power card thing that was implemented today. In which case, well, I showed it to you first. Every Thursday is Dolphin Dive with yours truly, where we like to stream some Handelabra products and show you how to play the game strategically well. There was a potential of me switching to Friday into fall semester, but my evening class got canceled due to low enrollment, so I think I'm going to stick with Thursday nights. The good news, though, is I was originally assigned 3 classes. It was going to be 11. It was going to be 11 credits. Unfortunately, they dropped 2 of my classes. I was down to 4. However, the good news is today they managed to get me assigned to another 3-credit course, so I'm up to 7 credits, 2 classes. So it's not as good as 11. I would be making more money with 11 because I make money per credit hour instead of per class. But 7 credits is more than 4, so it's fine. It's good. It's not in the evening, so I can do Thursday evening Dolphins Dive. Everything is good in that front. Every Saturday is Spirit Island Saturdays with me and John, and depending on how the semester goes, I might have to duck out in the fall semester, depending on how busy I am with grading and general course upkeep, which can be quite a lot. It was quite a lot in the spring when COVID-19 first came out, but if I can plan around that this semester, I should be able to be free for Saturday nights, but we'll see. John has offered to be, you know, the alternating lead for the weeks that I don't partake, but there might be another person who will lead Spirit Island Saturdays. In any case, it's an occasion for players of Spirit Island to come together and play Spirit Island. If you liked watching me play Spirit Island solo, you should watch me play Spirit Island with other people who slightly know the game better than me. I mean, I'm, doing pretty well on my own, but there are other people that just instinctively know what to do, as opposed to having to glance at all the cards and piece together the right moves. But, I mean, sometimes having an amateur figure things out. Amateurs can view things beyond, the meta. Experts will stick with the meta, like, oh, whenever you play River, you're always going to do double growth, you're going to take presents from the card plays track, and you're going to work towards Reclaim 1. Whereas an amateur might say, I like having some energy so I can have a little bit of bolster, energy bolster. And it might turn out that in the long run, that plan works better. Like in this game where I was taking presents off the Lightning's energy track. And it's like, well, great, fantastic. Now I have a foundation. I don't have to rely on gaining energy off of others. I feel like this was a really fun Lightning game because we got solid energy foundation. But again, we needed the elemental boon in order to really take advantage of those things, but it was a really fun game for Lightning. Anyway, I'm rambling. And Sunday is Tales from the Archive with another Lowdown who likes to play Sentinels thematically, and sometimes with some special challenges, sometimes brought forth by the chat themselves. Alright, if you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at LewdDolphin21. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/LewdDolphin. Those are the main avenues you can find me. I'm also on Discord. My Discord handle is LewdDolphin. My Discord, number thing, doesn't really matter, but if you find a LewdDolphin, it's most likely me. I am on the Handelabra Discord. I am on the Realm of Discord, and I try to, sometimes poke in. I have Realm of Discord muted because there's just a lot of activity there, but I do have the Handelabra server unmuted, and I get to read everything there. Alright, I think I've rambled long enough. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all Saturday for Spirit Island Saturdays. Have a good night, everyone.